Hey, Jonathan here, and I'm here to talk about the Sabal palm. Here's a little Sabal palm, a little baby one. Here's a little bit bigger one. Here's a little bit bigger one. And the Sabal palm is Florida's state tree. Sabal palms can grow up to 60 foot tall. You can actually grow orchids and things out of the sides of them. I've seen it done. There's actually orchids in the front. Maybe I'll show you those. They grow in Florida all over the place. They are extremely salt tolerant. You'll see these trees in the city and a lot of people clean them up and they treat them more like an ornamental tree. They're great for that as well. Oh yeah, I strongly suspect that mushrooms can be grown out of this tree. Just a hunch, but I think it can happen. I know out of the queen palm I've seen oyster mushrooms growing. At the time I didn't know enough about mushrooms to be confident in harvesting and eating those. But if you grow mushrooms off of these palms, which I hope you do, please share your experiences in the comments. I need to know all about it because I want to do it later. They're basically a great tree. Cabbage palm, also known as Sabal palm. The fruit is edible, the seeds are edible, if you can figure out a way to get them into flour, or at least so I've read. Also a great source of biomass. Also, you can make fans, stir sticks, chopsticks. You can make plates out of them. One here, great example of a plate I've seen people weaving hats out of, similar. This is an excellent source of biomass. You can see the fibers on the inside. They just soak up water like a sponge. They're great for hugelkultur. For those of you who do permaculture, you might know what this is. If not, stay tuned. Eventually, I'll make a video about it. You can see that this is pretty soft and spongy material once these dead branches have a minute to sit. When they're green, they're nice and hard. Can't quite break that like this. So you can see when they get brown, they get brittle. Some people will make scrub brushes out of these. I can't remember exactly how they do that. There's probably guides online for that. One thing I have made out of it is a fan. This is a fan that was made from one. Okay, basically you just gotta take your scissors. You're gonna cut around the inside, make the fan as big as you want. You just cut off all the ones that are just hanging loose, you know? These also make great plates. I've used these a number of times for plates. The stems make great sticks for roasting marshmallows or hot dogs or whatever over an open fire. Not toxic. You don't have to worry about killing yourself by using the wrong plant. Pretty comfortable. So when you're cutting these, it's nice to go at a diagonal. This way, doesn't matter. Boom, diagonal, it's done. So you can see here, I split this one down the middle. There's a lot of these fibers here. Now, some of these fibers can be harvested to tie things with. They don't make excellent ties. Not my first choice. Kind of like a last choice, really. I'm going to go ahead and hack away some of these. Now, when I'm hacking away these are brown, these are brittle, these are easy to go. So I'm going to hit them with the back of my knife so I don't dull my beautiful blade. So you can see here there's a sharp little section here on the leaf. This will kind of cut your hand. So if you want to use this stick, it's good to kind of just shave that off. Now I'm shaving it off in little sections so you can see the line that I was just talking about. So for instance, if I needed to tie a gift, well, I'll show you about green gift wrapping later, but this here is one of the ways I can do it. So just wanted to show you that. Also, it makes grabbing the branch a little nicer because if you grab on this side where it hasn't been cut, it's nice and sharp. It'll cut your hand a little bit, unless you got tough hands. So you want to shave those right off. They come off real easy. Then you can grab it and get a much more sure grip. Now, there are a few ways to cut these. The easiest being from the top down, because you get your natural angle in. You can't really use this method on a plant that's too tall. Here's one over here that's not. So what I'm going to do is basically hit it just like that. Comes right off, just like that. The second easiest way is at an angle like this. Comes right off. Now if you stand under them, you're probably going to get hit by them, unless you figure out a way not to. Now wasps will come and they will start little nests underneath these leaves. So when you're coming through and you're just hacking, sometimes you hit a wasp nest. Doesn't happen all the time, but it does happen. So something to be aware of if you are cutting these leaves. Just take a quick glance first. It avoids a lot of pain later. These often grow next to pine and other things, and you can see that enormous amounts of biomass get caught. Naturally, it's like hooks going up this way. Anything that's falling can very easily get caught here. They're also a fire ladder. You see how all the pine needles and such get stuck? All that just goes up in flames really quickly. So when we have forest fires here in Florida, these palm trees are one of the reasons why it goes up and up, climbs, burns these brown leaves and stuff, and then it can jump to pine trees and jump to other tall trees. These are a fire ladder, so be aware of that. If you have these palms on your property and you want to maintain them in a way where they're not a fire ladder, cut all the lower branches, and you can also strip away these things. So these are on the trunk. Now you have to strip them away from the trunk if you want to prevent the fire ladder from happening altogether. These catch a lot of debris and they hold it against the trunk. When you're pulling those off, you want to start from the bottom and pull up, because if you don't start at the bottom, they're all interlocked. So if I'm to start in the middle, try pulling these off. See how they're caught? They're caught because they're caught into these lower branches. So you can kind of pull down and you can work them up from the sides. And it's a little bit of work. But the thing is, once you get the first layer done, which ideally is going to be this very lower layer, because look, these just come right off. Nothing's holding them in place. Boom. So then when you go up a layer, these just come off. And then next thing you know, you've got the whole tree coming off. And where'd the fire ladder go? You also want to remove these dead ones and throw them into your hugel mounds. And another thing you should know about these trees is that they also tend to house raccoons, possums, maybe even rats. Now you aren't really going to see that so much on a smaller tree like this because it's too clean, too clear. However, when you see an older tree, and these trees get about 60 foot tall, see a tree like this, for example. This one, I'd say maybe 20 foot tall or so. But see how it has a lot of debris, a lot of vines, a lot of whatever? That makes a great hiding spot. We might even see a little critter up in there. It's a little hard to make out. And that's exactly why they hide there. It keeps them safe from predators. And also, the fruiting branch provides them with a little extra nibbles here and there, I imagine. It's a hard outer shell, not super hard, but a little bit hard. And there is a big seed in the middle, a seed that you can actually extract oil from. And it's delicious oil, by the way. I don't have a good extraction method for you. I did it by accident one time. Well, I think I set off a fire alarm or two doing it. Also, those seeds are really hard. I've heard you can make flour from them. However, you gotta figure out a way to grind them. I imagine extracting the oil first is a good first step. I don't know how to do all this. I haven't really played around with it too much. I did play around with it once and I broke my blender. They're very tough seeds. They also are a great platform for vines. We have some grass that's growing around the fire pit. Occasionally we have ants and stuff around the fire pit. So what we do, we take one of these palm leaves and we light it up. Since we light it up right on top of the grass, it can singe it and scorch it. And it's a way to get rid of some of the grass that's around. This is one method of keeping the weeds down. You gotta be a little careful because when these are burning, the ash from them, sometimes bigger chunks, like see that bigger chunk at the end there, it can blow up in the air and start a fire. So on a very windy day, you probably don't want to use these as your method of weed control. You want to wait until a day where it just rained not too long ago, or a day when it's about to rain. It's always good to have a bucket of water or a hose just in case. And you can see here just how easy it was to light. These things go up really easy. You can see just how tall the flames get. These flames can reach 3 to 4 foot tall, so just keep that in mind. I can feel the heat from back here. They let off a tremendous amount of heat. They burn relatively quickly. The stem of the leaf, if you call it that, is this thing here. These actually burn a little bit slower, so when you're starting a fire, it's good to break a bunch of these. They break really easy. You've got something here that looks a lot like a sword. These things here make good swords. Thing is though, they've got this sharp ridge. You can see it there. You can almost break it with your thumb, but you can take a pocket knife and very easily shave those off. You can easily shave these off. Rounds the handle out nicely. The brown ones will break easy. The green ones don't break so easy. So if you need a stick for the woods, you know, you feel like you gotta just chop something, you can actually hack through some light brush, emphasis on light brush, with these palm frond swords. Back to the fire again. You can see how it's left a nice layer of ash on the ground. Ash, as we know, is good for plants. You don't want too much of it, but fire is actually really healthy for ecosystems. Here's an example of some dried out fruit. So if you note, when you crack these open, these are kind of hollow in between because the fruit's already rotted out or been eaten by ants. What you're left with is this beautiful little orangish red seed. If you find a way to crush these seeds, leave a comment. I'd really like to know. We have large amounts of biomass. We have green biomass, which I believe is nitrogen, brown carbon. We have amazing fire start. This stuff, it can even be ground down pretty small. You can start fires relatively easy with it. You can make your palm tree swords for the kids or for whoever wants to sword fight. Don't get cut if you get damaged being stupid with palm trees. It's on you. You should know better than to hit somebody with an object. That's that. A little bit about palm trees. Hope you enjoyed the video.